be an overview, judicial independence, and then to on case, first to Petro, and then to the solvency hedge flow. Everybody ready with that? Okay. No way can you urge an affirmative ballot in this round because A, they don't have any solvency based upon the terms on judicial independence. The no solvency term that I placed on that was dropped in the last speech, which was made in the 1 NC, which is completely legitimate for a new argument, and they have the cold dropped it, and also because of the terms on case that they directly have straight turned that we have straight turned advantages that they by leading to the decrease of hegemonic power and by decreasing the U.S. economy. Both of those scenarios will also lead to a decrease of the global economy through multiple different scenarios. I would extend these on the line by line, but they don't have any solvency this way because A, it is a straight jump of their case. Their case is going to happen. The impacts of their case are going to happen when the case happens, and there's going to be no solvency through the judicial independence. And the reason you're going to vote for us, however, is because of the risk of any risk at all of an impact scenario from any of the scenarios from judicial independence, and then because the status quo is working fine, but if the plan happens, because of the terms and what happens with them, like either U.S. economy is going to go down inevitably, like they prove that, and also that we have proved that it will collapse the entire economy. Well, so either one, we have a decrease in economy in both scenarios through with the affirmative. Okay, onto the line ballot and judicial independence. Okay, they state again that their card doesn't deal with the public. However, that they're talking about their second card. I saw it when they read. You can pull it if they want. Their first card is all about the public opinion. We don't deal with the public opinion, y'all. We're dealing with Congress. That is the main check on judicial independence. And then they say how they also extend across cards of how and then they extend across this one card that they had, that controversial decision, increased legitimacy. A, we're talking about overruling of precedent. Overruling of precedent can be controversial or incontroversial. They have not proven different ways of how overturning a precedent is always controversial. So extend across the first link of the first card that judiciary independence is stable now, but overruling precedent decreases judicial independence from the checks of Congress. Extend that across because overruling of precedent makes Congress check makes Congress check judiciary more because they're afraid that the judiciary was going to go crazy with this. And then you can also extend across the second link because you're increasing presidential power. They say they're not increasing presidential power because they're ultimately decreasing hegemonic power. But in order for them to do that, they must increase Bush's power to have more military commissions. This is their uniqueness to their case. If they come up and say, no, we don't increase presidential power at all, they lose their entire case because that is what is key in order to creating the rift with Saudi Arabia. So if you buy that argument from them, they don't even have a case. Vote negative on perception alone, that is valid right there. However, if you don't grant them that, then we have an entire link to the judiciary independence scenario because increasing the presidential power with a democratic government of a vastly Republican president is going to piss Congress off more than anything that has happened in the past, and our current scenario is based on current implications. So if they say no or evidence that has happened in the past, it hasn't, because we're talking about the current status right now, that this will lead to Congress checks on the government, and also because they are overturning precedent that Congress has just done in the past 3 months of the Military Commissions Act, which was done 3 months ago. This is the reason why Congress is going to be mad at Congress, because they've just worked so hard to get it past 2 houses in Congress and through the president decreasing his power. So this is going to annoy Congress even more. Those 3 things are the reason why judiciary independence will be constricted by Congress. This is key because of the drop impact scenarios. We have the drop impact scenarios number second card on the shell, that this is judiciary independence is key to democracy in the Middle East, and that democracy in the Middle East card number 3 is key democracy in the Middle East is key to new wars. Okay, let's face it. In democracy, this is where the major wars and controversial decisions and policy and different frames of the governance are all working together in this scenario now. That in the Middle East is where the changing world is happening. The scenarios that happen in the Middle East will affect us for the next generations. It is the next influence of the Roman Empire upon generations to come. If we mishandle this scenario right now and allow regimists to come and create communism or other totalitarian governments and not a democracy government which is stable and is in control and protects human rights, we will lead to a mass nuclear war which will inevitably extinct us all from their own impact scenario. Also, the Nigeria scenario, in turns their case, extend across how a decrease that they model our scenario, and okay, scratch the Nigeria scenario, we don't care about it. They don't have any solvency because this will be overturned by Congress. If they do something illegitimate by Congress, this was dropped, extended across. This was the The second scenario I added on at the end, like the last scenario before I went to the other flow terror, it was basically that if you make a controversial decision away from Congress's own ruling, which they explicitly do from the past 3 months, that Congress isn't going to allow this to continue to stand, and that they won't have a sovereignty because Bush's power will be checked again before he's able to piss off Saudis even more to push them to the OPEC and Eurodollar, and then extend across that if we don't have judicial independence. Okay, so all the impacts of this round so far are terrorism, nuclear war, and extinction. However, this is a human rights impacts that was dropped. So if anything, you must vote for the human rights impact because at best you can grant them a wash on terrorist and nuclear war scenarios. However, you can't on genocide and human rights, because if we don't have an independent judiciary to protect the human rights of the own citizens going to the government, then we will inevitably fail to protect our own citizens' human rights. You, me, if something bad happens to us from the government of a controversial president or illegitimate in Congress, that we need the judiciary to back us up and support us as own human rights extended across. This is the reason we're going to win the round. Okay, on to case showing how you can't vote for case. Turning their advantage, making their entire case a wash, because in the last speech they have dropped are 1, 2, 3, 6 cards, number 5, 6, and 7 on the original petro advantage, and my partner read 3 more cards of the U.S. economy is key to the world economy. If they lead to U.S. economic collapse. They've conceded this in their 1AC. This will lead to a decrease in the global economy. That this leads inevitably to a decrease in hedge, which on the hedge scenario was also dropped. The, number 2 on the hedge scenario originally, that this was dropped in the last speech. It's another decrease in the use of the hedge is key to a global economy. Their this is a wash. Vote on judicial independence.
120.